Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Podfathers, the best parenting podcast in the universe. It's your pal Clem here. It's your boy Large across the river in Dirty Jersey, the boy Chaps down in Tejas, and we got Joey Langone and Nikki the Good. Nikki the Good, the YouTube man, promote YouTube. That's my first fucking note of the day. Barstool Grown Up is on YouTube. Subscribe. Look at our ugly faces as you listen to the podcast there. Get some crazy shit going on. We got Chaps with his longtime toolies. We got Large going to be fancy boy in the kitchen. I'm doing some snack stuff. Kate's doing high chair, stressed out mom of a, how old now? 6-month-old?
No, 9.
Jesus Christ. 9-month-old, and check it out all out there. So check out the YouTube. You can go to barstool.link/grownup, capital G, capital U, or just search YouTube for Barstool Grown Up.
And Jordy too. Jordy, if you want barbecue stuff, Jordy is legit barbecue stud, man. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched any of his stuff, but that dude could be a pit master in Texas. No doubt about it.
We're throwing Jordy on the Grown Up.
He's more skilled at barbecue than I am at this point.
Fuck yeah. Awesome. No, that's great, man. That's awesome. I didn't realize that. And I think I can see us adding shit to the roster as we go along, just because there's a ton of time for people to do stuff. And Barstool is all aging as gracefully as we can, at least content wise, maybe not so with our bodies. But that was a ricochet shot. What's the name of it? Meat Sweats? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah,
the Meat Sweats?
He's doing Meat Sweats. And before we get going, can I just say something? I'm going backwards on the poor scale. I feel like my mouth is becoming more and more poor as time goes on. Like when I first got out of the Marine Corps, I was super into craft beers and things like that. And then I got into wine, and then I got into whiskey, better food and stuff like that. I'm going completely backwards, boys. I am lock solid in on Kool-Aid again. I'm just a huge Kool-Aid guy. I've been buying bottled of waters and just chugging Kool-Aid all day long.
Damn, that's a fancy for the people on the YouTube. They can see that Kool-Aid has upgraded their container though. Used to just be the little like rip off or whatever. Now it kind of looks like your Crystal Light fancy plastic thing. So.
I bought a 20-pack, Clem, of the variety. So I got orange, I got raspberry, I got grape, I got blue, everything. I got it. And it's unbelievable. I just go up there and get a different taste of the day. And because I was back in on soda big time, and I was putting on the LBs. I was back up over 200. Had to relax a little bit.
So is that like, does Kool-Aid have like, diet fucking Kool-Aid or sugar free? Is that what we're doing?
Totally sugar free. Yeah, there's no sugar in this. There's hardly any sodium. There's nothing. I don't even know how it has flavor. It's got to be terrible for me.
I was gonna say you're just gonna die a different way, but that's fine. And the best part about kind of going back and taste like that is it's something the kids will drink, right? Like McCarty.
Yeah, me and Cardi will go up there.
Yeah.
Dude, we got this little pellet ice machine. Put that in the blender. You got a snow cone.
I gotta be honest though, Chaps, it's nothing. Like now being into Kool-Aid is almost okay. When you were drinking a lot of Kool-Aid as a kid, that was like a badge of honor. You used to watch people make it with the cupfuls of sugar.
Yeah, I used to do a cup and a half was ours.
Yeah,
for a half
and
gallon.
we used a little extra for the kids. So 2 cups of sugar, the Kool-Aid, and then the water. I mean, that was the highest of high tests. I didn't know anything that was more high tests until Mountain Dew came along. Because Mountain Dew, when I first went to college back in the 1920s, it was like it was Coke. It was cocaine. Like it was final season stuff. That took the place
Surge
of Kool-Aid.
Soda were the 2 big ones.
Right. And that was before energy drinks. That was before Red Bull and all that kind of stuff. And now to go back and look, I just hit it because I'm always tempted to buy those little squirt things, little squirt iced teas. There's nothing in, I mean, obviously there's some artificial sweetener that's going to make you grow, a superfluous nipple. But as far as the rest of the stuff that used to kill you, I don't see it in there. There's still that red 40, which I believe, is not good. That dye stuff, but who gives a shit?
As long as it's not yellow number 7, that makes your dick small, right?
Yeah, there's none of that stuff. I think we're good, boys. I think we can be on the Kool-Aid gang.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm gonna give it a whirl because of that recommendation. How about that?
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't thought about Kool-Aid in a long time because just the idea of putting all that sugar into something doesn't seem healthy. But I went to this chicken and waffles place and it was fantastic. Large. They bring out these huge, like 1.5 to 2 inch thick waffles with perfectly fried chicken breast on it. And then you could get on the side you would get a banana pudding, like the banana pudding with like the vanilla wafers and actual bananas in it, and then a grape Kool-Aid in a mason jar. And it was unbelievably good.
Oh,
I went bowling not too long ago for a birthday party, and I had a fountain soda Hawaiian punch.
Ooh,
I hadn't dipped my toe into that bad boy in a while. I had the insides of my I had the insides of my cheek touching. It was kind of, but so Hawaiian punch and Kool-Aid is back on the menu, boys.
What I'm totally out on though, Yoo-hoo. I'm totally out on Yoo-hoo.
You're out.
Oh, I've always despised Yoo-hoo.
Yeah,
fake ass chocolate milk.
Yoo-hoo and Sunny D, both of them, get out of my face.
A huge Yoo-hoo guy growing up. I was huge. Those small glass bottles. I used to drink maybe one a day when I was in high school.
Was it because of the way it looked, though?
You know what? And then you'd give that snap on the bottom, and then it was a twist off cap like a beer cap. You can snap. So now I do it with the kids every now and again. And I'll tell you what, there's more particulate matter floating around in Yoo-hoo now, like those sea monkeys, than there ever was before. So you always get like a little chocolatey load kind of sticking to the side of your uvula. So I too am out. But I used to be, again, not dip my toe, both feet into Yoo-hoos. I love them, and now I'm fucking out
But a
them.
divine chocolate milk is an absolute game changer. It might be the single most, if you're in the mood for chocolate milk and you get the perfect chocolate milk, there's nothing like that. There was this farm in Middleburg. Well, actually, it was Green Cove Springs, Florida, and it was run by these old folks named the Gustafsons, and the Gustafsons had the perfect. I mean, like, Plato has his view of the forms where he describes that there's a perfect example of everything, and to that example, a basketball, and somewhere in the cosmos, there's a perfect example of a basketball. I believe the cosmos's perfect example of a chocolate milk was from Gustafson's farm in Green Cove Springs, Florida.
I actually think that's the exact thing Plato was thinking of when he came up with that theory. Was the chocolate milk. Yoo-hoo has a great name. It has a great label. It has like the little things like the popping sound. The worst part about Yoo-hoo is the actual drink inside the container. I despise it as
Packaging is spot on. You're exactly right, Clem, because so many of those things, like the drinks that you would get from the gas stations I think that's the reason why Mountain Dew is successful. Mountain Dew comes with a shitty label and branding. Nobody buys that. But because back in the day, that bright green color, people were like, oh, that motherfucker's going to class with a Mountain Dew. What a badass. He's got something cool. That's exactly how Yoo-hoo was.
Yeah, if they threw that shit in, it was just your typical Coke color, that like brownish sludge. No one will fuck with you, but it felt like it was fucking just a little cool, maybe from the future and shit like that. Sweet name. Again, Baja Blast. When you go to Taco Bell and you're fucking getting a Baja Blast,
turns out that's just blue Gatorade and Mountain Dew mixed together.
Just some seltzer in the blue Gatorade.
It's like four-fifths Mountain Dew, 1/5 of blue Powerade.
So Kool-Aid's back on the menu. Wow, this is awesome. Big day for
I just did a Twisted History of Wine this week, and we're recording it tomorrow. And I say that whole you can't judge a book by its cover, works out, except with beverages. I judge wine, most liquors, most fucking soft drinks, things that I put, that I drink, waters, bottles of water,
books,
exactly by their label. Books, books. I do judge by their cover. It's probably
dude. Like people say, don't do it. Why do you think that that's such a big industry? Everyone does it.
We rebuke that saying, can't judge a book by its cover. It's all I do. I just
Pride and Prejudice comes with a manila folder with just a black font that says Pride and Prejudice. No one's reading that. It comes with some big Russian with their titties out. You're buying it.
Oh, yeah. Well, anything. Cat in a hat, but it's a big Russian with a titties out.
Right.
Waving it.
That's what should be our podcast logo. Honest to God, we get so many.
What are we doing?
Nick, can we work on that? Nick, can we work on
just
that?
Get a big titty Russian.
I can make anything happen.
Podfather blood.
Big tits and all.
You need a big titty Russian? I can get that for you, Nikki the Good. Put that as a fucking quote card right there.
Brighton Beach Nikki.
Yeah, exactly. The sugar cube in his mouth. I fucking love it. Like you were mentioning, so Twisted History, just like with Nick getting us on YouTube, Twisted History is now on YouTube now. Or what, has it always been, or is that relatively
No,
new?
it's brand new. Yeah.
Brand new.
I actually have to upgrade the box to keep my 3 chin because it's overflowing. I cannot keep it in this box anymore. I'm doing my own YouTube channel, so I'm just going to put all boxing and NASCAR and history and all that stuff, and we're just going to dump it into there. So it's being built now. I'm pulling a lot of stuff from Barstool Breakfast. I think it's going to be called like Barstool Extra Large because I used to like that name when we had Barstool Gold. And so you'll find Yeah, Twisted History and shit on YouTube.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that's my big announcement for the day is so all our TVs here, we have streaming everywhere, either Google Chromecast or Android TV. I've taken YouTube off of all my TVs though. And let me tell you boys, it was the best move I ever made. No offense, Nick. I can still watch my Barstool content on my computer. YouTube is a fucking pox on society when it comes to kids. Like my kids just will fire up YouTube. Did your kids get into YouTube? Like, does Cardi hop on YouTube at all, Chapsy?
Cardi is convinced that they're going to be a YouTuber, like just flat out convinced. It's not even a conversation like, oh, when I am doing this or when I get my camera set up, this is the kind of thing I'm going to do. Like, what are you talking about, kiddo? You're fucking 9.
Yeah. So Sienna is the same kind of way. We got her like a little camera and she'll like be like, smash that subscribe button and hit like. They have the whole fucking tagline down, which is cool. Like, I bet by the time it's the way I almost feel like I look at YouTube the way our parents look at video games because it rots their fucking brains out as they watch it. So Sienna and AJ, they get into, so we have the Ryan, that little fucker who makes millions of dollars playing with toys. Now he does like video game stuff. His whole family's there. They get involved.
He's like the real life boss baby.
Yes, yes, that's a great way to put it. And I imagine there's probably a bunch of parents out there who are going through the same shit. There's these like other families. There's this one family, I think they're like Mormons. They have like 8 kids. They live in a baller ass house in Hawaii, and they just do very poorly acted, poorly scripted, like shows that are like 10-15 minutes long, and they just basically make you feel poor the entire time because they're in their massive house or they go on vacation to like somewhere exotic. And it was the worst fucking thing, and my kids would just watch it.
But Clem, this is hindsight bias like I've never seen before. That's exactly what Saved by the Bell was. You think that we had the money of a young Lisa Turtle or of a Zach Morris that was rolling around in his convertible and his fucking cell phone in 1995? No, sir. No, sirree. We did not.
Yeah, you raise a fair point there.
And that's all terribly acted. Full House, you shitting me? That's fucking garbage.
That's true. Looking
back, porn
now,
with better acting than Full House.
It got me through a very rough time when the kids were at home nonstop for like 2 months straight. But we went around, we deleted it off of all the TVs so they can't get. I just told them it's gone. And so there's YouTube TV because that's what we use to like watch actual television. That's a black icon, and then the white one is called white YouTube. AJ in his sleep the other day, the day after we got rid of it, he was saying, white YouTube, white YouTube. He was talking about white YouTube in his sleep. So that's how you know you've got
problematic.
It's problematic too.
Yeah, it's
As
problematic.
I'm saying that is definitely a problematic thing, Nick. We might want to cut that.
But I was going to call my channel, by the way.
Yikes.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's the thing. So I feel like with Bridge or even Kelsey, I mean, when they're watching YouTube at that age, it's whatever. But at this point, it's just a bunch of nonsense going on out there. So any of the other parents, hit us up if you guys have any of these similar stories. Maybe Joey, do your kids fuck around with YouTube at all?
Yeah, like somewhat here and there, but
no, yeah. So I fucking it got really bad here, and it became basically a drug. And we've talked about it in the past when they get on those screens so much that they start hissing at you like zombies and shit like that. So I took it off all the screens, deleted the program off of the screen. So we're good now at the Casa de Clem. But it's been fucking tough. What's going on in Jersey, large man?
Not a ton. I got my my booster shot, so I don't know, and I still got this welt on my arm. I got a couple, and I was knocked out for a day afterwards. Just felt like I'd gone skiing. You know what I mean? When you stiff from skiing and stuff like that. So now I'm fully vaccinated. I don't know. Every time it affects me, I'm like, oh, why the fuck do I keep doing this? And it's because I would just want to be able to travel if I need to do like a gig or something like that. But so that's behind me. So now I'm fully vaccinated. Everybody else is healing up. Annie can't get the booster because she just had COVID, so there's a little bit of a waiting period, and everyone's good. I think mixed in the middle of football, basketball season, bridge school play. Yeah, everything's. Oh, you know what? I started that Hugh Hefner thing. Jerry had put that up. There's a Hugh Hefner documentary on A&E. It's 10 parts. I just went through the first 2 parts. And kind of Team Hefner so far. I know who he is. He's a scumbaggy guy, and supposedly there's some snuff porn and some bestiality down the road, which I'm going to be waiting on with bated breath. But it's been pretty interesting so far. So that's been taking up a little of my time too.
I imagine you already had at least one episode of the Twisted History of Playboy. There had to be at least one.
Yeah, we
right?
did. We did 2. I think we did 2. We did one where I shit all over him. I mean, he was a scumbag guy. 100% a despicable person and all that shit. But you sort of like the first 2 episodes of this documentary, a girl saying, "Hey, listen, I went to the Lions Den wearing a chopped meat bikini. I wound up getting bit." Like you think about it in that terms, but I haven't gotten to the point like this. Cosby was walking around in the background of a lot of these parties. There's been like this stray thing of Quaaludes. So I think it's going to get a lot worse. You saw like Roman Polanski in the corner. Like they're trying to put it up to where maybe like 3 or 4 episodes in here, this guy is going to be 100% the devil incarnate. But now it's just sort of saying, he's just an old horn dog who lured girls in and, gave them money to hang out with them in bikinis and shit. So it's interesting. That was kind of my time. Playboy was all I used to kind of sneak a peek at every time I was at a barbershop as a kid. Like they always had them there. And so you can always kind of look through them. And then when I was in college, I used to get it to my dorm for the 4 years that I was there. I just felt it was like a rite of passage and it was okay. But like through those late 80s, early 90s, it was cool to have those. Everybody was in Playboy at the time. It was like Pamela Anderson and Jenny McCarthy and the Tweed sisters.
Betty
Everybody
White.
was, Betty White, Bob Saget, Meatloaf.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's there's a certain degree of like I'm hearkening back to it, and I want to get to the bottom of it because even the little bit of research that we do for our blogs and podcasts and stuff can't match what A&E does, and they have these girls who grew up in the mansion. Literally, she started living in the mansion when she was 6. Her dad was Hef's doctor, and he, by the way, is one of the worst parents in the world. Like it's that Michael Jackson documentary where a lot of people are like, Jesus Christ, did he do it or not? But you did know that the parents who left their kids with Michael Jackson, the ranch, should be thrown into a fucking volcano.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's all those different nuances to it. So I don't know if it's going to be popular or not, but man, I'm in there.
What is it on?
A&E.
A&E. Okay.
10
Fuck,
parts. Yeah.
I mean, between Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, whatever the fuck's going on, to actually hear something on regular TV just like blew me away that it's
Jumped
still
on
out
it,
there. Yeah, that's good shit. Did we talk about what was that movie? Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up, right? Is that the name of it?
Yeah. Mhm.
That was pretty good. Did you guys check that one out? I guess we're on the content corner right now. Chaps, you didn't do it. Laura, did you watch it?
Yeah. I mean, cast. Everybody was
Unbelievable
in it.
cast.
Holy shit.
Leo, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jonah Hill, Meryl
Jonah
Streep.
Hill.
Yeah, everybody was in the fucking thing. Jonah Hill, I thought was very funny in it too. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I was just an okay movie. I think it was the most watched Netflix vehicle ever of all time. It beat like that last Rock, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds piece of shit. So yeah, it was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I think I enjoyed it a little bit more because of the sponsor that we just mentioned. So,
yeah, it's more depressing than anything when push comes to shove. It kind of just fucks with your head there. Speaking of which, we'll jump into some stories right now. First story comes. I feel like Texas has become the new Florida. Maybe it's always been the new Florida. We just didn't cover it as much as Chap shakes his nods his head in agreement. According to a news report, Rebecca Taylor came up to the woman's shopping cart at a checkout line in Walmart. The woman's cart had 2 children inside at the time. Taylor started making comments about one of the woman's 2 children before allegedly asking if she could buy the kid for $250,000. The mother refused the offer. Taylor pressed further. She increased the offer to $500,000 and allegedly threatened the infant. This was a White Sox Dave blog yesterday. I had to throw it on the Podfathers. What the fuck, man? What the fuck is going on with this goddamn world?
I don't know, but it tracks. I mean, that's a very Texas purchase thing. Like there, I can't tell you, people will try to purchase anything in Texas if they like it. When I used to have my F-250, if I would stop in at like a Discount Auto Parts or an O'Reilly's Auto Parts, something like that, basically an auto parts store, I would go get out of my truck. And I swear to God, like 4 or 5 times since I had it, an old Texas dude would be like, "Hey, I'm in the market for one of them trucks. You ever think about selling your truck? It's a nice truck. I'd really like to buy it off you." And they'll try to buy you. So it doesn't surprise me that somebody try to buy a kid in a grocery store.
At a Walmart of all places, though, like $500,000. What are you doing if you have $500,000 to hypothetically throw around?
Well, you imagine what you would have to pay if you went to Target.
That is a fair point. That is a fair point, Chapsy, right there. So is that what this oil, like, as someone that doesn't have money, let alone oil money, is that what like having some good Texas money gets you? Is just the ability to try to buy whatever the fuck you want as soon as you see it, as soon as it goes into your sight line, whether it's a truck or a human?
Oh yeah, that's the Texas way.
All right. Is that why Is that why you went on Wall Street?
Yeah.
An age
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, this is it's nice how Chaps like, by the way, this tracks. People wanted my pickup truck, so why wouldn't they human traffic infants? There's a one-on-one there.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not? Yeah, it's a wild thing. I don't know what I would say. Like as a dad, I know I would probably strike the woman perhaps, or call the authorities, sit on her chest until they came. But as a mom or something like that, who may be a little bit more, and then the woman said that she was threatened to take the infant, so it became pretty violent. So the answer was pretty clear, but I don't know if I would have gone down the road with her. Like been like, all right, 500 grand. How do I know you have 500 grand? Then maybe like hash it out a little bit just to see where it went. And then maybe, get her social security number and try to become the robber. Take the 500 grand from her. And then what recourse does she have?
Like your initial reaction is a chuckle, right?
Yeah.
Like you think it's somebody just being awkwardly funny in a checkout line. You're like, oh, haha, very good.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, seriously. I think once you realize that they're actually trying to buy your human baby in Texas, you're getting away if you give them a beating of their lifetime. Like you are absolutely getting off on it. There's so many stories in Texas of where like a dad will walk in on somebody abusing one of their children, and the dad's like, okay, well now this guy has to die. And the Texas court will be like, well, he gets a misdemeanor and probably free parking at the airport.
I mean, and people carry down there too, right? So if you start threatening your kid and saying you're going to buy them, let them maybe take them. I mean, at least I'm just going to pull some fucking heat on your ass.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
I'm sure
there's
it's
no
happening
shortage
in
of guns in the state. That's for sure.
Yeah. And by the way, the way that they ended the article was that record shows she was released Thursday on a $50,000 bond.
You got to bump those numbers up on bonds too. Like
Yeah.
50,000 bond, you got to pay 10%. You're going to pay down $5,000. She's already basically said she has $500,000 in cash. Human trafficking is a big deal in Texas. Like Large has said, like it happens all the time. You got to bump those numbers up. That's not a deterrent. 50 grand. Come on. That's chump change.
Chump change.
I will tell you, if somebody sees me walking at a Walmart or at the park or wherever, and they see me with a French bulldog and they want to throw a number at me, you'd be surprised what I'd let that thing go for. So just make me an offer. Okay.
What did you have any weapons on your person right now, Large, that you could take somebody out with?
I don't know. I mean,
you tell me.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's why people should subscribe to the YouTube, because just to see every week we'll have Large pull out another weapon. You don't know what it's going to be at what point of the podcast. And what is that right there, Large? That looks like a pretty serious blade.
Yeah. So this one, I think this one, because this is more like a Tonto blade, because this is a foldable chef's knife. Like if you go camping, you can kind of tell it has that Santuco type thing. But this one here is kind of badass, right? I like that.
That looks like Cloud Sword from Final Fantasy VII for anyone who has ever played the role-playing game from 1997. Fantastic game. That's what Large is carrying right now. It is able to pull out.
Barrel.
We should have you go to Texas, and we'll just have someone kind of follow you with the camera and see how long it takes someone to offer blue cheese, and then how quickly you unload her on their ass.
Oh, forget about it. I will sell her probably cheaper than it would sell you the blue cheese in my fridge.
This one just came. This one was fresh off the breaking news train before we went live. The SAT going digital started 2024. Nikki is pissed. Nick is not very happy about this. They're going digital. They did it last year, probably during all the fucking pandemic bullshit. 80% of students said it was less stressful, and 100% of educators said they had a positive experience with it. They're going to go all digital. It's going to go PSATs first, and then a year later they're going to go the digital SATs, and it's going to go from 3 hours to 2 hours, more time per question, feature shorter reading passages, and quote unquote reflect a wider range of topics that represent the work students read in college. And the biggest fucking kick in the dick here, man. Fucking Ticonderoga is going to take an L. Number 2 pencils no longer needed, man.
They're struggling to find that kind of lead, Clem. I think they're in cahoots with the big pencil market, because they're having a lot of difficulty finding this type of lead for pencils. It's an absolute travesty in the standardized education world right now. They're absolutely going through it.
Dunder Mifflin's taking an L on this too, right? They're not going to be all that paper you just print out every single year. It just goes in the fucking garbage.
Also, speaking of SAT, shout out Jeopardy Amy. She had a perfect 1600 score when she was in high school.
That's the thing. So I was going to start throwing around SAT scores here. I might. Nikki's saying no. Large. What was your SATs? What was it back in the day? What was even the
16.
range?
It was 1600 was the range. It was 800, 800. I had a 1480 was my SATs. And I'll tell you, if you want to get the updated ones, like, I don't know, Chaps, where you are with the SATs with Kels, but Mick didn't take them. Mick's about to go to University of Alabama, just taking ACTs. Didn't even take the
schools
SATs.
don't even require it anymore.
It's
really.
I was like, Mick, you're applying to schools and you're saying NA for SAT scores. She's like, yeah, no, Dad did. I was like, I was like, okay. And meanwhile, he's gotten accepted. I was like, okay, that's a waste of money. Never took his SATs. Only took the ACTs. Achievements.
I never took mine, and I got a degree from UTSA, baby. So
nice. Roadrunners.
Pretty good.
That the Roadrunners?
Yeah.
Nice.
Derek Rose was like, that was like haunted by the fucking SATs because he didn't take them or someone else took them or whatever it was. And turns out you just don't have to go to the right school.
I took him for a kid. I took him for a kid in so he went to Sheepshead Bay High School, and Sheepshead Bay High School didn't have picture IDs. So I took his SATs for him in Canarsie High School, which is a hop skip from us. And I just had to show his Sheepshead Bay High School ID and his social security card. So I sat down, banged out the SATs for him, $100 in a case of beer, and a drive to and from with a bagel sandwich, and I was done. Take a report, as they say. So yeah, I just enjoy that shit.
Shout out Joey Lane going 800 on his PSAT math portion and didn't have to go to math class anymore. That's fucking awesome.
What's up, Joey?
Nikki, do I throw this one on the pod or do we just let that one?
You can put it out there. I got a 970 on the entire test, and my parents were so ashamed, and they had like a meltdown because they didn't think I got accepted to any colleges. I then cheated on it the second time, but my guy Joey Bezzetta in homeroom, shout out Joey, and I got a 1080, and I just got into Hofstra by the skin of my teeth.
And then you became good friends with Stephen Shea. Stephen Shea probably grinded for that fucking SAT.
Probably got a perfect score.
Yeah, the Mr. Data himself and the guy who, invented the zero running back strategy, knows everything about Madden, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, fucking Stephen Shea. Love that guy. I think I got a 1290 on it, 1270 or 1290. I don't remember. But that's fucking huge, man. That was just the worst. I never stressed about tests. That's just my personality. But I just remember people used to lose fucking hair over that shit. And I mean, who gives
Look at this. It's now going to be. But wasn't it okay?
Oh, here we go. Old ass Large about to get
upset. 3 hours to 2 hours, more time per question. So, I mean, honest to God, it's sort of like you say, oh, you got a 1480, I got a 1490. Sure you did, because you only had to do a 2-hour test with more time per question, shorter reading passages that reflected a wider range of topics that represent the work you read. And, I get it. It's different now. Every SAT after I took it has an asterisk. Fuck this. And then by the way, don't bother taking this fucking thing.
You're going to take it?
Don't fucking take this. Don't bother taking the SATs. Tell all the kids out there, I just rebuked them. Fuck them. Take something that means something. Honestly, they don't mean anything. I mean, I'm sure it does to like Ivy League schools and real schools and whatnot, but fuck this thing. It's so strange.
Shots fired in Alabama, real schools.
Yes, exactly. Roll Tide.
If you don't want to take your SAT, you just write to Large Barstool on Twitter, and he will send you a note saying, "Don't fucking take it." Or
dude, if you can make a fake vaccine card, you can 1,000% make a fake SAT score. No doubt.
I can't wait till Finn takes his digital SAT. And the fucking cameraster registers a 300-pound, 53-year-old guy taking it as Finnegan McCarthy. Fuck this. You know what I mean? I'll wear his Irish cap and one of his muscle T-shirts.
Yeah,
says like fucking Gibson on it.
He's in there putting it in a new
100%
garbage disposal, and you're doing his SATs.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck this. Would you cheat for your kids? Will you?
Oh,
would
absolutely.
You
yeah, like that whole story. Whenever it came out, Full House, Aunt Becky doing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have money and you're not, everybody does it. I mean, even from sports camps, if you have money, you put it into your children. Like all these kids that go and play quarterback in different places. Hardly any NCAA Division I starting quarterbacks didn't go to these expensive ass college campuses and have these expensive camps that they have to go to. You pay along the way, tutors, whatever. What's the difference? If you say I'm going to donate $50,000 for a library, does that suck for the poor people? Yes, but that's what America is. Like, it sucks for poor people.
And
Period.
even easier, have you been to a science fair lately? I mean, the
No.
kids that actually do it on their own never win. nobody gets rewarded for doing it on their own. And so when Finn was a Cub Scout for like a
Elon
cup
Musk
of coffee,
kid's gonna have an amazing, like, oh, how do you make this pocket-sized battery that's gonna power the entire globe? Well,
we like the Pinewood Derbies that they do for and, you know, you do it with your kid, and we created something, you know, it was weird. We called it Hitler's dick, and it had just as enough weight, but it wasn't exact. We went there. I mean, there was stuff that looked like it was made in NASA, you know, and those things, you know, were the best. They got that that dust, the graphite dust on the fucking axles and all that shit. So I guess if you're not cheating, you're not trying anymore. But you know, pick your spots. The SATs, yes. The Pinewood Derby, I said no.
and I especially don't care about the buying your kids into school if it's a private school. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
And
USC is a private school. Who gives a shit?
And the kid that had that Pinewood Derby car, his shoes are on the wrong feet. It's not like he's, you know, fucking the next
100. Yeah, no, yeah, he didn't. He's not the kid who's like has permutations and combinations in his fucking head. It's just some kid who's, you know, he's eating his finger while his dad is up there polishing the fucking rocket.
Because his dad didn't love him.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that didn't sound right at all.
Especially not when it's Hitler's dick.
Yeah, no, it was sleek and efficient. That's why we said so. It was thick.
Nick's gonna have to do. Nick gets to produce and edit largest episodes. I remember that was a fun part of Bren's life when he was here. We're gonna go on to some mailbags now. And the mailbag is presented by Wood. We're introducing Wood, not that kind of wood like the Pinewood Derby, but Wood, a new men's grooming line offering products across hair, body, beard, and shave. With Wood products, you look your best, smell your best, and feel your breast.
Whoa!
Hey, if you feel your best, you're gonna feel a breast too.
Especially if mama needs to get that baby out. You start tweaking them nipples, baby.
Now all you have to do is live your best. Wood is for the guy who knows that his best life doesn't just come to him. He has to go out and find it. The Barstool products of Wood. Large, how many Wood products have you dived into?
I will tell you right now, the only one that I got, because they were out there, is I took one of the deodorants, and I took one that's called Fresh Tracks. Obviously, I'm not their, you know, their customer. Fresh Tracks. And I read it. It's with oak moss and pink pepper, which I don't own either. And it's very, very lovely. So if you are going to try one of these things, Fresh Tracks to deodorant. Some of the other deodorants is like smooth brandy and vanilla. I'm not sure if I want to smell that much like a dessert since I'm already such a snack. You know what I'm saying, Chaps?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's coastal lavender and sea salt. Okay.
I'm so glad that they didn't go with like landlocked lavender. There's nothing that I fucking hate more
100%. If your lavender
from
isn't
Nebraska lavender, get it out of here.
Yeah, if your lavender can't see the sea, then you're fucked. Yeah. And then oak moss and pink pepper. So the Fresh Tracks gets my stamp of approval.
There it is. So if you want to get your wood, shop Wood at getwood.com, GETWOULD.com, or at your local CVS. CVS, I mean, we love CVS. We've already talked about it a bunch of times. You get those little 2-for-1 on the candies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So get your Wood there. And we're going to hop into the
like an eagle eye in CVS. If there's an orange tag for a reduction in price in the candy aisle, I'm like, how far are we going down? Because sometimes you'll have a $3 candy you can get away with like 35 cents at CVS.
I saw some Hershey Kisses that were on sale, Christmas themed, and I didn't even look twice. I was very proud of myself. The old Clem, he would have been able for $10, been able to feed himself for a year, but I didn't even look twice. So
are you back on diet, Clem?
No, that would have just been really bad though. That would have been into a really bad place. Whatever the opposite of diet.
I have to update my contacts on my phone. I guess.
Yeah, I'll let you know when you're gonna have to. You'll be able to smell when I'm on the diet. The mailbag, barstoolsports.com/askdad or podfathershow@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at podfathershow. First one comes from Zach. A few weeks ago, we decided to get a golden retriever puppy, put the deposit down, and picked out ours from the litter. Several days later, found out my new wife is pregnant and with our first due this summer. How fucked am I?
Not at all. 6 months is plenty of time to train a dog. Plenty.
Okay, good. I was gonna have the dog trainer and the guy who's being haunted by a dog. So which one's gonna give the best answer? And it sounds like Chapsy says he might be all right, Zach. Zach with the H, by the way. Does that make a difference in your mind?
Yeah, I hate that. You got to go with K if you're Zach.
He's technically he's Zach.
Yeah, Zach.
Zach.
Zach Gusto.
Yeah, and I absolutely defer to Chaps because not only am I make bad decisions with dogs. I no longer get to put in my 2 cents because I am a terrible dog picker and not a very good dog owner. And I throw money at problems because I don't know how to love. Fuck this. I'm just terrible at it. So yeah, I think, like Chaps had told me a bunch of good tricks when my other dog was pulling and whatnot. But once I saw that this wasn't a French bulldog, you have a shot. If this was a French bulldog, then you'd have to kill it.
Yeah. Real thing. Don't let your dog chew on anything as a puppy. Like, this is my advice for if you're going to bring it in and the dog's going to be about 9 months old whenever the baby actually gets there. No biting or pulling on anything. So no tug of war games or anything like that, because the next thing you know, that little rope is going to be your baby's arm. You don't want to do that. No barking. You want to start anytime it barks, you think it's cute now, immediately verbal correction, sharp nose, whenever it starts to bark or knocks on the door, because you are not going to want that when it's nap time. Everything that you're going to want your puppy to do whenever the baby's there, you have time to train it before the baby actually gets there.
So you're not completely fucked. I don't know how many balls is he fucked then. So a 1 ball.
It depends. Zach seems lazy, honestly, with the H instead of making the sharp lines with the K. So I'm not sure, if he's gonna do it. If I was his significant other, I wouldn't have a lot of confidence. I'll say that.
Golden Retriever puppy, are they pretty good though? It seems like a Golden Retriever is one of the better puppies you're gonna get.
And if you can't train a Golden Retriever, you have no business getting a dog ever again.
Yeah, or a child. You should have to sell your child in Texas.
Yeah, bring him back to Texas. You could probably get $600,000 for both of
them. Next one comes from Christopher, and Christopher, this is a different name episode. Christofer.
An abomination to the Lord, right there.
Christopher.
Yes.
Christopher
was actually Jesus' best friend when he was a toddler. People don't know that.
Is that a fact? All right.
Yeah.
All right, this was a long one, so I'll try to shorten it for everyone. Pretty much, he has a wife that is 32 weeks pregnant and having a bad fucking time with the new resident in her belly. She's miserable, was puking through the first trimester, lost 10 pounds throughout that decent second trimester, and now it's a fucking dumpster fire. They're making it through all right, but he says that now he's been out of the military for over a year now, so we got a veteran here. And although I parted ways due to medical retirement and brain cancer, don't worry, all good now. I still do my part and live through all the bullshit, training exercises, all the fun stuff we do with kids. However, she says, my wife, so anyway, this motherfucker, my wife, has the audacity to keep reminding me, you're going to be tired all the time when the baby gets here. It's going to be different. You don't know what it like, that it has to be that, it has to be changed. Put it to bed, all that kind of stuff. I've held my tongue and been as kind as I can in my responses to her. How do I convey to my lovely hormonal, very pregnant wife, who I think is about ready to pop, that I'm worried about performing my fatherly duties under stress or sleep deprivation? Do I just keep doing what I'm doing and remain calm, cool, and collected? Do I save it up for 10 years from now and play the long con? Current plan is just keep quiet and prove to myself on the changing table and be able to give the I fucking told you so. But always curious to have your input as such esteemed gentlemen, fathers, and also chaps. Thank guys. Keep up the great work and keep the laughs coming. This guy just needs to fucking get into the war zone here, man. There's enough training that can be done.
Well, what I think he's saying, what I'm gathering from this is that he's saying, listen, I've been through stressful situations in my life, all the military training. This stuff isn't going to be anything that breaks me. And buddy, let me just tell you, there's a big difference between bombs, bullets, and bad guys, and babies, fucking bassinets, and bumpies. There's a huge difference all the way across. You cannot compare the two. It's two totally different things. One, if you are super stressed out, you can act in an aggressive way and people are going to think that it's awesome, and that's exactly what you should be doing. That's in a wartime. And then there's going to be the time where you're stressed out and you have to act more tender. That's in the parenting time. Either way, they're not relatable at all, and you are fucked, Chris. You're fucked.
I like his idea though. Let's say it does come to him, or let's say it's, remember when Kool-Aid, when we had interviewed Kool-Aid, and he thought it was going to be on a scale of 1 to 10. He thought it was going to be a 2.
Yeah.
Like he thought the
Kate
difficulty
did
was gonna
too.
be like a
Kate
2.
thought it wasn't going to be hard at all. She was like, how difficult could this possibly be? I don't think I'll even need more than 5 or 6 onesies.
And I think with Coley's set up with his wife, like moving out of town and stuff, I think Coley has had like a 3 or a 4 as far as an experience, where Kate's had a 12, perhaps a 13, like, you know what I mean? So let's say this guy does have it. I think, you know, the waiting around for the I told you so, I would, tread lightly with that too, because, you know, even though she's throwing some stuff at you, and I don't like being hit in the face with a pie as much as anybody else doesn't like being hit in the face with a pie, but she's about to tear her vagina apart too, right? So you do have to tread lightly and taint, So you gotta tread lightly for quite some time, at least until those stitches heal. So I'm gonna say maybe when you're out of the woods and you're a couple of years into it, and you can be like, by the way, you kind of overreacted on that shit, maybe. But you know,
but then you're gonna get murdered because she's gonna have all these different things in her head that you fucked up along the way.
Yeah, and maybe be such a be so impressive that she'll realize it. I doubt it. And then next thing you know, the second one will be coming along. And you're starting again from Jump Street. So he's got a lot to process. Seems like this was a very good email form to write, because he got every feeling that was inside his head onto the fucking page. It's probably cathartic enough just sending it.
Yeah, and I do think there is a party that changes a little once you go into that delivery room and you see your wife try to deliver your baby. You're just hoping everyone gets out happy and healthy, right? So that kind of, I think, changes a little bit. And I'm just going to tell my boy Chris here as well. She's fucking right, man. This shit, the fact that she has this much foresight before having the baby. I wish I had that foresight, being like, you're going to be so fucking tired, sleep deprivation. Nothing's going to seem upside down. Everything's going to seem upside down. Nothing's going to seem right side up. I say the person I was before I had kids is dead. That person is gone for good. It just fundamentally changes you, man. You know what I mean? Would you
sleep at 23 years old? Needing sleep at 23 years old is so much different than needing sleep in your early 30s and you have an infant to care for. It's just monumentally different.
Yeah. And I honestly think, you go with the military analogies here, it is like at some point she just stops being as much your wife and more so the mother of your child, and she's in the foxhole with you, right? That's basically all it becomes.
I mean, for me, it was like when I was 22 and I first joined and I had just graduated boot camp, going out and running 5 miles was nothing. I could take a 6-minute pace and do that forever. Can I do that shit now? Fuck no, because things are drastically different. You get old, your knees are fucked, your brain sucks. Like there's all kinds of things that you're going to go through. And it is brutal, but I think it's much more rewarding, and being along with somebody in the ride and like being sleep deprived together is sometimes the only thing that makes it like still move. Like the fact that somebody else is in the same exact battle as you. Like that's why I think like my great uncle on my wife's side, he was 97 years old when he died, was a Iwo Jima veteran, fought on Iwo Jima. His best friend was the guy that he fought in a fighting position with, and they didn't know each other from Adam. The one guy was from Colorado, the other dude was from Mississippi, and they hung out in a foxhole in Iwo Jima, and they were best friends for 70 years because they shared the same terrible, life-changing experiences together. That's essentially what parenting is.
Yeah. And then you laugh at all the stupid shit they do that no one else sees, right? You're like, I can't believe that little asshole just did that. That's
you can't get that perspective.
And then it's
from
shared
anybody.
TikToks. Yeah.
You can't get that perspective. Like, let's say you added, working on the Florida Stock Exchange was stressful, and blood in your stool, and drug addict, and losing your hair, and all that stuff. It can't compare to, the foxhole analogy, right? So, but yeah, maybe this guy and you have a nuance, like a perspective that nobody else will have. And if he looks over at his wife and it winds up she's that one guy in Patton where he had to smack him in the tent because he just lost his shit, then he's gonna be like, what the fuck did I marry this coward? You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be interesting to see through his soldier's eyes.
It's usually the husbands that get slapped.
Yeah. But imagine if he's the guy who's brave and all of a sudden she's a yellow belly.
Oh yeah. Looking
so,
over at your bride and be like, you fucking coward.
Right. Yeah. At least I know, like, my wife and I are probably equally cowardice.
I put that in you. Now get it out right now. And I mean, like you said, Kate's going through it too, man. So this, I do respect. I would love that he writes back in a year or so and it's like, I fucking crushed it. And he's going in with the right perspective. effective, I guess.
Just
to
throw it in our face too.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he does, man. I hope he fucking does. Because this Podfathers is basically a 5-year, whatever it's been, advertisement for birth control. That's basically what we do. We just bitch and moan with a couple of nice things along the way. We'll wrap this one up. This one was from Reddit, and I was trying to figure out who put it on the sheet last week, and I thought it was Chapsy. It had to be a Chapsy.
Yeah,
one.
it's me.
Should I buy my son a fleshlight? Okay, so my 14-year-old, it's a single mom who has a 14-year-old son. They've always had a pretty good relationship and open when it comes to sex and puberty. A couple of days ago, she's driving home from soccer practice, and out of the blue, says, "Do you know what a fleshlight is?" I was a bit surprised, but told him, yes, I knew what they were. I didn't know really. I didn't know where he was going with it. After a short, awkward pause, he asked if it'd be okay if he bought one. And then she basically says, "What for?" He goes, "Well, to masturbate with." I have no problem with him masturbating and thinking myself as sex positive. I'm just apprehensive about him having a sex toy at such a young age. Although on the other hand, I brought a vibrator when I was 16. It's the same concept, basically. Chapsy.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with just making them churn butter the old-fashioned way. Like I feel like if you want to get it, what's that?
I was about to pounce on you when you said I don't think there's anything wrong. I thought you were going to say with taking him to go get his first fleshlight. I was about to pounce on you.
I think I'm sex positive too, but I think that there's a difference between. I don't want to be involved in anything that my kids do sexually. I'm okay with whatever they want to do sexually because they're in control of their own bodies and all that shit. But I'm not going to go out and fucking buy them a fleshlight. And I'm not buying my other kids like vibrators and shit. Like if you want to get that when you get out of the house, or if you want to buy that with your own money and you keep it in your room and I don't know about it, fine. But I'm not going to go out and use my own money for you to fucking jerk off. No.
A 14-year-old kid who has his own fleshlight is pretty cool. The 14-year-old kid who has a fleshlight that was given to him by his mother is a fucking psychopath, right? Like, so the parent has to think about it in terms too, that it's a 14-year-old kid. He's going to spill the beans. And then that person who he's bragging about that he's banging this fucking, he's banging a fleshlight is then going to tell his parents, hey, by the way, his mom got him. And then all of a sudden you're that woman. And I got to, there's a thing, you have to earn something, right? Don't you have to earn something? And if you take care of your masturbation on your own, right? It's the easiest thing in the world. I used to be able to beat off to a fucking sunset. So it's like you can make one. Make yourself a prison pussy. Do whatever the fuck you need to do. Just look stuff up online. But to go about and get your kids so comfortable that you're taking their SATs and buying them fleshlights at 14, it's the end of the fucking world. What are we raising? What are we fucking
these kids
raising?
These days won't even clean a beta fish's tank. You think he's cleaning the cum out of a fucking fleshlight? No shot.
I know that.
You're gonna walk in his room and it's gonna smell like nothing but dead shrimp shells. It's gonna be awful.
It's gonna walk by you. Yeah, I'm totally against it.
I think if you buy it for him, that's the problem, because he's always going to be like, "Oh, that's the fleshlight my mom bought me." Like, you get gifts from your parents, right? It just has that parental, gift purchase. I'd say maybe give him.
Your first car is always nice, but you appreciate the one that you paid for yourself more.
Yes. I could see like a way to kind of go about this without actually buying it. Maybe for his birthday, just give him one of those Visa cards, right? And it's $100 on it. Which, how much do these things go for? 100, 200?
Mine was.
It depends. I assume that there's many models. Let's look it up.
You can get the Lisa Ann one.
You can get the KFC radio one.
Yeah. Kids just have to take care of that on their own. And plus, if you fast forward 30 years and this kid now has a 14-year-old son asking if do you know what I mean? Like, I think he'll see the error of his ways. I don't blame the kid for asking. He's 14. That's what 14-year-old boys. I mean, I didn't have that conversation with my mother at 14, but it's just
you can buy them for as little as like $20 in some spots. But so the original Aviator, it's a travel size one for you, Clem. It comes in at $49.95, which is
$49.95. Yeah. Maybe free shipping on that if you can get. I'll try to look for a code to get some free shipping. I just hate paying for shipping. It's a personal thing about that.
What was that? We used to do a ad for fucking dildos.
Adam and Eve. Yeah. Oh yeah. You get like eight free gifts. Yeah. Yes. So hold off. I know this is a Reddit question, but hold off on getting that until we get that
Get
deal
2
back.
gifts and you'll have enough for your advent calendar for your kids.
Nick's currently working on a presenting sponsor, so if Adam and Eve wants to come crawling back, we'll take them. As long as we can each get our own flashlights to give
Do a
reviews
short
on.
demonstration on the
Yes,
YouTube channel.
exactly.
And here's how you use the nipple clamps.
but like you said, Large, though, you know, you're doing that at 14. Everything's just gotten younger these days. So I can't even blame the kid for, you know, wanting to. This kid doesn't like, if your mom bought you the Playboy, that would have been weird, right? If she got you the subscription, hey, Large, you know, happy 16th birthday.
Right.
She called you
And
Large
I
too,
think
which would have been weird.
but even Playboy, you could say, oh, he likes it because of the articles. Like there's no other reason that you could put on the fleshlight except for I'm helping my kid beat off. Like that's the only thing that you could say.
Which you want your kid to do, right? But kind of in his own
not
time.
against it. It's part of the human experience.
Like what like to Chaps's point, what's this kid's motivation to even pick up his tissues? You know what I mean? If he's naturally a slob and leaves paper plates already in his room, and this
kid
becomes
is horny already.
No, then there's no separation. He's got a phone. He's 14, so he has access to just about anything he wants pornography wise with very little fucking firewalls to cross. So it's do something on your own, man.
I guess there is such a difference in this generation and the last generation. And part of it is good. Like there's so much less shame for being sexually attracted to whoever you're sexually attracted to, which is great. Like it helps you with mental health
100%.
and all those things. Those are fantastic. But there's gotta be some sort of fucking decency. I mean, riding in the car with your mom in the Volvo and being like, hey, the way I've been jerking off, I've been getting the job done, but I need to fuck. These are rookie numbers. I need to up these.
But is that it? Is he desensitized to his own hand at the age of 14?
Like,
I mean,
that's what I'm getting. It's gotta be what it is. Like he says, I want one. Why? Well, to masturbate with. This isn't somebody this dude's been jerking off since he was fucking 6.
Right.
He's gonna end up like Robin Williams in that one movie, where his son died. You know? Have you seen that?
Aladdin? Was that the genie?
Where Robin Williams is a dad and his son is like super horny, and he ties himself up, and then he puts himself into the door, and then he eventually dies. And Robin Williams walks in on his son with his dick in his hand, dead.
Wow. Is that Patch Adams?
Blubber.
Blubber. There we go. Blubber. R.I.P.
It was the original Jumanji. It was a lot.
Good morning. Got this from my mom.
So what are we saying? So are we saying no fleshlight at all, or just don't buy it yourself? Kind of look the other way. Be like, oh, someone sent this.
Tell him go fuck himself. Literally. Tell him no. Say that's not a question you ask me, and it's not something I would even just consider doing. Well, get out of here. Go do something. Go outside and play.
You nasty little
weirdo.
worm. Treat him like the fucking kid on Red Dragon. Is that what you do with that nasty little thing of yours?
How'd that work out, right? Yeah. Get that kid to church, for Christ's sake.
Uncle Tom will buy a fleshlight, all right, buddy? If you listen, I'll buy you a fucking fleshlight.
Yeah, get him a weird uncle to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need a weird uncle in this world. That's the weird uncles were made for shit like that.
But I also don't want an uncle who quickly volunteers to go buy my son a fucking fleshlight either.
Yeah,
like,
there's
you can't
different
be
tiers of
at the bit
weirdness
to do that.
Yeah. Fuck, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't want to give weird uncles too much love on this podcast either.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you get that thing? Oh, Uncle Large. You know what I mean? Then you're gonna have a talk.
It was his favorite one when he was young.
Yeah, Uncle Large would buy you blow darts. He wouldn't buy you a fucking fleshlight. Something that blows. All right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up for the week. We'll see you guys next week. As always, stay safe and stay sane.